Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am, Judith. I am Martha Sean, and I will be one of the discussants for today's afternoon. So here are my co-discussants. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi everyone, I am Shermy Maglasyan.
Good day, everyone. I am Karangel Giorgizano.
Good day, everyone, and I'm Kimberly Vergara.
Okay, so we will be your discussant for today's afternoon. So our topic is also about food preservation, just like the previous group, but our topic is really focused in high temperature. So heat is one of the oldest and most effective method of food preservation. So it destroys microorganisms and enzymes, extending the shelf life of food and making it safe for consumption. So what is microorganisms and enzymes? So microorganisms is these are the living things that like bacteria and fungi. So while enzymes, these are the proteins made by microorganisms and other living things that speed up chemical reactions. So basically, microorganism makes enzymes to do stuff. So it's also said here that it extends the shelf life of food and it's making safe for consumption. So that's a question. So ngano mangyod yang gina-extend ang kuan. So this will be answered later sa mga discussion sa akong mga co-discussant. So
Okay. Use of high temperatures for food preservation. The type of heat treatment will depend on the kind of organism to be killed, other preservative methods to be employed, and the effects of heat on the food. So, meaning, different heat treatment is maggamitan na to siya based sa unsa siya nga type na microorganism ang naa sa food. So, and ang uban banggid bacteria and pathogens kay ga-require siya og high temperature nga para ma-complete or ma-completely vanish bitaw tong bacteria nga naa sa food. And well, ang others na ang others kay makontrol ra siya og kanang milder ra bitaw ang heat. So, the impact of heat on food quality such as texture, color, and nutrient retention kay gina-consider nato para ma-ensure nga ang final product is mag-remain siya appealing and safe. The use of heat also affects the food adversely. So it is necessary to use only mild heat treatment that ensures freedom from pathogens and enzymes. Activity while instant activity while enhancing the shelf life of the food. So well, ang heat treatment is effective siya para ma-eliminate ang mga harmful na microbes and mag-extend siya sa shelf life sa food. Ang excessive heat or kanang extreme bitaw na heat or high heat temperature kay makadamage na siya sa quality sa food. So, high temperature may cause makakause siya mawala ang nutrients sa food, ma-change ang ihang texture, then mag malahi pod bitaw iyahang taste. So therefore ang mga food processor is gina-aim nila to use the less amount of heat necessary lang siya to kill the pathogens and inactive enzymes while gina-preserve niya ang natural qualities of food as much as possible. So there are several techniques of food preservation by heat. Balik sa mas. So na siya several na techniques nga amo ang ma-i-discuss karon tagsa and sugdan siya ni Kim.
Okay, good afternoon again, everyone. So, um, my topic is about sterilization, which is ensuring long term safety. Food sterilization is the complete destruction or elimination of all viable organism and or on object being sterilized. And then the sterilization process, um, it destroys yeast, mold, vegetative and vegetative bacteria and spore formers. And it allows also the food processor to store and distribute the products at ambient temperature, thus existing the shelf life. Um, Sterilization, it can be achieved by different methods, which is the moist heating, dry heating, filtration, irradiation, and chemical methods. And the most involved of heat sterilization is the moist and dry heating. Okay, what is heat sterilization? A controlled heating process used to complete elimination of all living microorganisms, which include the thermal resistant, spores, and inactive enzymes in food. Mm. In heat sterilization, there are two types, which is the batch sterilization. Um, it is retorting, and then the second is the continuous sterilization, which is UHT process. And in to sterilize a food, there are time period na required. Pero it depends on nakadepende lang siya sa heat resistant of microorganism or enzymes, pH of the food, physical state of the food, and rate of heat penetration into the food, and then the container size. In food sterilization, naadya siya yung mga defects of food, which is color changes, flavor and aroma changes, textual changes, and the LV nutritional changes. In a partition part, it is a method of sterilizing both food and container together, sealing them in jars or cans, heating them high temperatures. This method was invented by Nicholas Appert in the 790s. Appertization, is the process of sterilizing perishable foods in hermetically sealed containers, like canned goods. The best example of that is the canned goods. And then this method ensures long-lasting preservation of products para dugay siya mag-expired. And then it can be used to preserve vegetables, meat, and ready-made meals. And then the second one is the aseptic packaging. Sterilizing food and containers separately. Food is heated to kill germs before being placed in a pre-sterilized container. Aseptic packaging is the process by which microorganisms are prevented from entering a package during and after packaging. And then the best example of it is the Tetra Pak drinking boxes. Kato ganing mga kabandi mo itong mga milk na bisan di na siya isulod sa freezer, okay Japon siya and mas long gihapon ang iyang expiration. Daghan na siya katong bara siya paga siya no papel na sudlanan basta like that. And then the ultra high temperature, like ganiha dito na siya mo na siya ang process na gina ano siya ang pangkaduhan na type sa heat sterilization, which is continuous sterilization. The ultra high temperature. Heating food to extremely high temperatures and 135 Celsius to 150 Celsius for a few seconds. This method is commonly used for milk, extending its shelf life without refrigeration. Like what I said na, bisan wala siya naka-freeze, but because of food sterilization, galong last siya and then taas-taas year for expiration. Next mark, please. The next one is the pasteurization, a milder approach. Um, Pasteurization is a heat treatment that kills harmful bacteria without using extremely high temperatures. Food is heated to less than 100 Celsius for a short period and then quickly cooled down. Um, this is the mga Celsius na gina-use. The low temperature is 62.8 Celsius for at least 30 minutes, and then the high temperature is 71.7 Celsius for at least 15 seconds, and then the third one is the ultra high temperature, which is ang Celsius is 135 for 1 to 2 seconds. Um, Pasteurization, preserving food discovered by Louis Pasteur. In this process, milk is heated up to 72 Celsius for 15 to 30 minutes and then suddenly chilled and stored. Mo to ang example sa uh, example process of pasteurization, which is the milk. Then this prevents the growth of microorganisms in certain food, ch- sorry, certain food and beverages. And there are some principle of the pasture, which is mild thermal process in which food are had heated to temperature lower than 100 Celsius for specified time, followed by cooling. And then it can destroy enzymes and relatively heat sensitive microorganisms like non-spore forming bacteria, yeast, molds, and therefore through this process by the pasture extend iyahang shelf life. And then the example of it para mas understandable siya, um, like best example is like the the pineapple juices. Before nimo siya isulod sa iyahang sudlanan, which is the bottle, ang agi na siya sa pasteurization process, which is ang bottle and the cup of the bottle is imuha siyang pabukalan for nakadepende kung pila ka Celsius and then pila ka minutes and seconds. It depends na sa mag-pasture ato. Then I had din isulod ang liquid juices para maka-avoid siya sa mga active na mga microorganism and other are like enzyme bacteria or and yes and molds para for long lasting na din siya expiration. And that's all. Thank you.
Okay, now let's proceed to thermization, a gentle heat treatment. Thermiza- Thermization is a milder form of pasteurization applied to raw milk. So unlike sa pasteurization nga marag taas siya gamay sa thermization is a gentler process or minimal lang ang heat na ginagamit para ma-reduce ang mga microbial contamination while gina-maintain niya ang natural na quality sa milk. Then it involves heating milk to at least 50 degrees Celsius for 16 seconds. So, di ba mas ubos gid siya, mas gentle, and mas dili ra kay high ang iyahang heat. So, destroying pathogenic bacteria without significantly threatening the milk heat. So, iyahang conjugate is gina-eliminate niya ang harmful na mga microorganism nga which could cause health risk sa mga consumers. And next na. So, blanching. This one is other technique of heat processing, blanching, preparing for preservation. Blanching is a heat treatment applied to fruits and vegetables before freezing, drying, or canning. It helps inactive enzymes that cause undesirable changes in flavor, color, and texture. So, ang blanching it is an essential step. Um, Important step in food processing where ang fruits and ang vegetables is briefly expose sila sa hot water or gina-stem. And kanina process is mag-help siya nga dili ma-spoil or dili madaot ang food and ma-preserve niya ang food. Ang ma-preserve niya ang quality sa food by stopping enzymatic activity na mag-lead siya of discoloration of flavors and texture deviation. So, ang blanching is, ano siya, to ang first is destroying enzymes like catalyst and peroxidase. Enzymes like kaning na-mention na catalyst and peroxidase is mag-contribute ni sila sa food nga mag-breakdown bitaw ang food and mag-lead siya nga madaot na hinuon ang food, mag-change ang iyang color and mag-lose ang freshness sa food. So, ang blanching kano is inactivate niya nga mga na enzyme, gina-inactive niya mga enzyme sa food para ma-prevent ang downside nga changes sa ato ang gina-store na fruit or vegetables. Second is reducing microbial load. So, ang blanching kano is gina-lower niya ang number sa bacteria, molds, and other microorganism nga naa sa food or vegetable. Then, i- ang blanching is gina-enhance daw niya ang food safety and shelf life sa food, especially before freezing, drying, and after canning. Then, third one is removing occluded gases. When they say occluded gases, mao ni ang mga na-trap bitaw na mga air sa food. Kaya ang fruit o vegetable is na gina sila natural na contain na small amount of rock air sa ilang tissues. Then, if dili to sila mawala na air, dili na ang patutrap na air sa ilahang tissues is mag-cause siya, ang kapal ng gases is mag-cause siya of oxidation na ka-affect na din siya sa texture o mga-create of air pockets that maka-interfere daw siya sa proper packaging or heat processing. So, ang blanching is ginarid ang blanching is gina-release niya tong gases na na-trap sa food para ma-improve ang product stability. Then, fourth is enhancing food texture and appearance. So, ang blanching is ga-help ni siya para ma-maintain bitaw ang vibrant or crispness of vegetables or fruits nga nitabo nga mas visually appealing, and it can also soften the texture, making certain foods easier to process and mas dali siyang ma-process, ma-package, or ma-consume sa mga consumer. Um, Blanching also eliminates undesirable flavors such as the bitterness, taste, and cauliflower. So, some veggies like kanang cauliflower kay nana sila natural compounds. When you say natural compounds, naa na gid na sa nana na sa product da ano lay wala kulay gihimo bitaw ang tao like sa cauliflower di ba pait man na siya. Then ang ginabuhat sa blanching is iyahang gina-reduce to nga compounds like pag imahe siya i-blanch is kuan murag ma-lesser bitaw ang iyahang kapait and mas murag desirable ang iyahang taste while gina-preserve nato ang overall quality ato na vegetable. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, darling, thank you so much. Kadunggan akong tinog. Thumbs up. Okay, go. Thank you. Okay, di na ako mapakita sa camera since I forgot mo to. Our next topic is cooking, so making food consumable. So, cooking is a heat treatment applied to food to make it consumable. So, I mean, this is very common, no? I mean, we all know this, what is cooking. So, it's enhancing the taste, odor, color, and texture while significantly reducing the microbial load. So, an example of kanang gina-enhance niya ang texture and ang texture or ang taste no sa ang cooking gina-enhance niya ang texture or ang taste sa food is caramelization. So, this is a browning of sugar. So, I mean, maraglatik siya in Bisaya. No? This is a browning of sugar which creates sweet, nutty flavor. It happens when sugar are heated to high temperature. So, if you're familiar with this, diba, when we eat sugar nga alone lang, sweet na imong ma-taste. But then, if you cook it na, then ay mo na siyang ibutang sa pan or whatsoever nga cooking materials, um, imo din siya ipa-caramelize, mulahi na yung taste no, mo enhance na. It has this, or it will create this nutty flavor na, or create more sweet nga kanang flavor sa food. So, cooking also is a reduced microbial load. So this means that when we cook something, it reduces the microbial load of the food or katong mga bacteria nga iyang kina-carry, no? Ma-lessen siya. Not totally 100% mawala, but then ma-lessen. That's a good feature sa cooking. So cooking it has different method or it comes with different way. So number one of that is boiling, no? We immerse the food in a water. Frying, we immerse in a fat or oil, which we are also familiar with already. Steaming, exposure to steam. I think this is very understandable. So roasting and baking, dry heat exposure, no, and grilling, direct heat exposure. Katong atong mga ginahimo nga like barbecue, roasted chicken. So that's it. So next is boiling. So a basic heat treatment. So basic na gid kayo ni ang boiling. I think that even in our history na ani ang boiling ginagamit na ni siya with cooking. So boiling involves heating water in 100 Celsius. So while it kills most pathogens, bacterial spores can survive. So kaning boiling, it kills pathogens. So pathogens, by the way, these are the bacteria causing diseases nga atong magyat sa food if dili nato siya properly ma-boil or ma-fry or ma-cook. So, bacterial spores can survive. So, even though i-boil nimo ang food, um, somehow napagyapon to siya kanang bacteria gamay. These are the bacterial spores that can survive because bacterial spores, guys, these are really hard to eliminate nga mga bacteria. If we see here sa atong under sa atong water heated 100 Celsius, so bacteria spores survive. Boiling alone is not always sufficient for complete food preservation. So it says here na dili gid siya kanang sufficient na makill gid niya ang kwan, but it lessens lang, and that's already good. So that is boiling. So instant dali ra kaayo and very common. The next topic, eh,
Hello everyone, and I am gonna discuss canning is a method of preserving food by sealing it in airtight containers and applying heat. This process is crucial for preventing food spoilage and extending the shelf life of various foods. In short, canning is about the of preserving food by sealing it and preventing food spoilage and extending the shelf life of foods. Steps in canning. First is sterilizing the food. Sterilization is the process of killing harmful microorganisms like bacteria, yeast, and molds. Those can cause foods to spoil and lead to foodborne illnesses. Sterilization is achieved by applying heat. The level of heat needed depends on the acidity of the food. Example is low acid foods require higher temperatures. This will be achieved through pressure canning to destroy particularly resistant bacteria like Clostridium botulinum. Sa man jud ni ang Clostridium botulinum. This is a bacteria that produces a very potent neurotoxin. It is among the powerful toxins known. And so, and this bacteria affects the nervous system and, of course, our breathing. It occurs when people eat food contaminated with the toxin, especially if it is improperly canned. And the common source of this is low acid foods like the vegetables, meat, and poultry. Next is packaging in sterile, airtight containers and sealing the containers hermetically. Sealing is after the food is sterilized, it's crucial to create an airtight seal on the container because sealing prevents new microorganisms from entering and contaminating the food. Properly sealed canning jars create a vacuum, which further inhibits or prevents the bacterial growth. Next is heating to destroy bacteria and prevent spoilage. Heating is the core of canning process and it serves two main purposes. The first is to destroy existing microorganisms in the food. Next is to drive air out of the jars, which helps create a strong vacuum seal during the cooling. Cans should be inspected before use. Damaged or swollen cans indicate microbial contamination and should be discarded. So, in summary, sterilization, sealing, and heating is the steps in canning. So, ang sterilization is about eliminating the threats like bacteria, while ang sealing is making sure to keep the bacteria away. While lastly, ang heating is ensuring that the food remains safe and preserved. Next, Mark. So, types of canning. There are two types of canning, which is water bath canning and pressure canning. Water bath canning is used for high acid foods like fruits and pickles, while ang pressure canning is used for acid foods like vegetables, meat, and poultry. Now let's ano sa the differences of water bath canning and pressure canning. Ang water bath canning is high acid foods only, while ang pressure canning is low acid foods. In water bath canning, jars are submerged under 2 inches of boiling water. So it means ang water bath canning is kuan gyud no dapat daghan gyud ang imong water ani. Nakahimabaw siya sa imong jars if maggamit kag water bath canning, while ang sa pressure canning is jars are closed in a pressure canner with 2 inches of water in the bottom. So sa pressure canning is doesn't ano jud nga necessarily nga dapat daghan na imong kuan. Gamay lang jud na water ang need nimo sa pressure canning. In water bath canning, processing temperature is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. It does not kill botulism, which I said earlier, I've mentioned earlier na katong botulism nga bacteria na ga it is among the powerful toxin known and this affects our nervous system no? And of course our breathing. While ang sa pressure canning is processing temperature is 240 degrees Fahrenheit. It does kill the bacteria botulism. The required equipment of water bath canning is pot large enough to cover jars with water. While ang sa pressure canning is the required equipment is pressure canner lang. And it is important not to confuse pressure canners with pressure cookers, as pressure cookers do not provide the correct pressure conditions for safe food preservation. So dapat yun kining tama imong ginagamit nga mga pressure canners and tama yun imong paggamit pud sa pressure cookers. So it doesn't kuan proper dili siya ka-affect sa imong food and maybe masudlan og katong mga bacteria. And that ends our discussion for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cherry. So that ends our presentation, Mom Judith and classmates. I hope you did learn something from our presentation. And goodbye.